Welcome back to BPM, everyone, and as you can probably see, I have finished the entrance to the Villager Hall. In the last episode, we did build the Last Drop Tavern down there, but I never actually connected it, so I have now made an over-the-top, ridiculous piston-launching mechanism thing to get us from down here in the Last Drop up to the Villager Hall. And to be honest with you, this is way inconvenient. This is a really inconvenient way to get into the Villager Hall, but I don't care because it's cool, and that's all that I was interested in. And check out this. Okay, so if you think that is cool, check out this insanely cool exit. Are you guys ready to see how I get out of this place? Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know about the exit, but, yeah. This is basically just an entrance without the extra steps of going down here, and then coming over here, and then pressing a button, and then going through this whole thing just to end up in here. But you know what? Those doors are boring, and that's cool, so I'll probably keep using that, even though I think this is probably faster and more convenient. But anyways, guys, that officially wraps up the Last Drop, at least for now. I think I might do some more stuff with that in the future. And also, if you guys left me comments on things that I should change with this place, don't worry, I probably read them. It's just, you're speaking to past me right now because I haven't actually released the episode of this. The only people that have seen this episode right now are the people over on Patreon. It is not actually live on YouTube, so it'll be about an episode late, but I do promise I will read your comments and change some things in there if you guys have some good ideas. But anyways, that is not important today. As you guys can probably tell, between all of the sticky pistons down there and all of the slime blocks that I needed to launch myself, pretty much 100% of my slime reserves that I had from just killing random slimes hopping around. Let's see. Yeah, I've got 14 slime balls left. Not a lot. So I want to do more fun redstone stuff like that in the future, but in order to do fun redstone stuff like that, I need slime balls. And in order to get slime balls, well, you obviously need to kill slimes. I don't think I really need to explain this process to you. But you can probably see where I'm going with this. I need slime balls, and in order to get slime balls, you have to kill slimes. But slimes are kind of hard to find. So, what do? What do all Minecrafters do when they need something that's hard to get? They build a farm. Of course, everybody knows that. You build a farm. And so, if you look right here, this little random stone brick thing that is here for no reason is actually here for a reason. If we turn on the chunk borders, this is placed as a little marker indicating I checked the other night, and this chunk as well as this chunk right here are both slime chunks, according to Chunkbase, in case anybody's curious how I found those. So I want to build a slime farm today, and that is the plan. But this is not going to be any ordinary slime farm. Oh no. This slime farm is going to be ridiculously over the top and complicated for basically no reason at all. So guys, it's been a bit of time, but I now have the basis of a slime farm. Basically just 10 platforms here, 3 blocks in between each so that large slimes can spawn, and then you just put some light sources so that normal hostile mobs don't spawn. And if this was going to be a normal slime farm, all I'd really need to do is add an item collection area down here, add some iron golems into the walls to bait the slimes off the platforms, and bam, we're done. But that is not all that I want to do. As I mentioned earlier, I want to do something special with this slime farm. And that special idea that I have has to do with all the way up there at the surface. So, hello little guy. Instead of just having a collection system down here, which I will still have, right around here-ish, I'm going to be adding a water stream at the bottom so that slimes that fall don't die, but instead get caught in the stream and get carried this way to where I will have a big water elevator capable of carrying all the different sizes of slimes up to the surface. So the idea is that instead of having a hyper-efficient slime farm, what I'll have is this side of the slime farm that'll be collecting all the slime, like normal, and this quarter of the slime farm over here that will also be collecting slime like normal. But this one little area right here, any slime that spawns and falls into this area will get caught in this water and brought up to the surface, so that this almost acts like a dual purpose. One purpose of this farm is to collect slime balls, you know, the main idea of a slime farm. But the other purpose is to collect slimes that I can then use for a project up on the surface, which we will get to once this farm is complete. Ooh, wow, epic transition, cool building is happening and stuff. I don't know, I didn't record anything. So the slime farm, at least the farm part of the project, is complete. Now when all the slimes spawn on the platforms, they will hop towards the iron golems which aggro them, and then they get tricked into jumping into the hole, fall down to the bottom, die on the magma blocks, and the minecarts collect the juicy slime balls. However, as I mentioned earlier, this is not the end of the project. Now is the time that I want to add that water elevator for the slimes, and then I will show you guys what I have in mind up on the surface. Do you guys hear that? Oh man, that's so weird. Oh, never mind, it's just Boat Turtle. Hey, what's up, my guy? How's it going? So, guys, I have officially finished phase 2 of the slime farm. As you can see, I am on the surface, and these little guys are just magically popping out of this hole right here. So, basically, all this phase 2 of the system is a big system of water streams and water elevators that bring slimes from the bottom of the farm all the way back up to the surface. And I ran into two big logistical problems here. The first and biggest one was enemies despawning. If any hostile mob is within over 32 blocks of the player, or they're over 32 blocks away from the player, I believe it is, for more than 30 seconds, they will enter their despawn phase when they have a continuous chance of despawning, and after a few more seconds, they're most likely going to despawn. So, because the slime farm is so far down, basically anytime that I'm on the surface, they are within that despawn timer. So I needed to get the slimes up as quickly as possible. So what I did, because slimes really like to fight water currents, is I added another iron golem at the very bottom behind my water elevator. That way, the slimes that fall into the water will actually be aggroed into the water elevator. They'll basically try and get to the iron golem on the other side, and that gets them into the elevator and up close to the surface as quickly as possible so that they don't despawn. Just in case anybody's having problems getting slimes into elevators, I found that's a really easy way to do it. Just put an iron golem on the other side. But then, my second problem was I only wanted baby slimes on the surface, because if they are any bigger than that, they can actually deal damage to you, and that wasn't really what my intention was. I kind of just wanted some passive little slimes up here, for a reason that I'll get to in a bit. But, yeah, so what I wanted to do was I wanted to add a way of basically splitting any larger slimes that come up the elevator down into the smallest ones. And I used some lava blades to do that. Now, they're not perfect. In testing, I've noticed some of the small slimes do end up dying. But more importantly, what I have noticed is that it does kill every large and medium slime that passes them. And that's all I really care about. I don't need 100% of the baby slimes to get up. I just want most of them to get up. All I really cared about was that none of the large slimes would ever get past the blades. So basically, that is my system. And now, what you guys are probably wondering is why the heck do I have a system to bring a bunch of these slimes from the slime farm up to the surface? And for that, we are going to have to get into a bit of a build. So, let's jump into a time lapse, and then I will explain why the heck I have this mob of slimes following me. I present to you guys the Slime Wizard's Tower. Now this build is pretty special because this is the first build in the world that I am using lore. I'm using a made-up kind of storyline to drive the build. The entire build was inspired by a story that I came up with, and the reason why this is special is because eventually I want mostly every build in my world to be connected in some way to an overarching lore and kind of story within the world, because I feel like that allows you to be a bit more creative with your builds and to tell a story with your builds. I just think it makes your world more interesting. So, coming back to our hole in the ground with the slimes coming out. The story that is the whole reason why, instead of just having a slime farm, I wanted to go above and beyond and make this special, I guess. The story is that this is the tower of the Slime Wizard, and he lived here well before there was a big metropolis down here of a bunch of these big buildings. Before it was just a small village, and they all kind of looked to him as this mystical, not quite leader, but kind of almost a deity. You know, he was the wizard of the town. And so everybody would talk to him, and they'd respect him, and they'd give him tributes and all this type of thing. But eventually, as this town progressed and began growing and building all these massive buildings and becoming wealthier and exporting things throughout the dockyards and everything, they began to ignore the Slime Wizard. They basically stopped talking to him, they stopped respecting him, they stopped all that kind of thing. So the Slime Wizard got mad, and he decided to use his Eye of Slime at the top of his tower to open a rift of slime next to the town and to summon all these little slime minions to go and teach the town folk some respect. That's basically the idea. And all of that is basically just a contrived way to have slimes on the surface, because I had the idea that I thought it'd be kind of fun to have these little guys jumping around in the town, and I was like, well, that doesn't really make any sense with the theming of the town, so I had to come up with a reason so that it did make sense, and this is the reason. And eventually, this will serve more of a purpose. Eventually, instead of having to go down to the slime farm, I want to bring all the items up, and the Slime Wizard's Tower will probably be the area that I store all of my slime balls from the slime farm. And these guys are pretty annoying, huh? Apparently slimes on slime blocks make a lot of noise. I didn't know that. Well, anyways, yeah, that is the theme of this build. And speaking of the build, there was actually a few things I wanted to mention here with this whole construction. First of all, I have begun experimenting with some gradients. Honestly, this isn't a very large gradient. As you can see, it transitions from dark to light pretty quickly. But in a lot of cool builds, I watch a lot of Minecraft YouTube, to be honest with you. And I noticed that in a lot of the builds that I liked, they were using gradients to basically help detail builds, and so I wanted to try that myself, and I think it does help a lot here. I think if this was just a solid stone all the way down, it wouldn't look quite as nice. And as well as that, I also used andesite here to kind of texture and break up the brick, and honestly, it might have even been a good idea to use a third texture here, but even just having the two textures, especially from a distance, helps a lot to make this build look a little bit more detailed. Among that, we've also got this little scarring in the wooden support here as well. And then as far as actually theming it to be a slime god, or a slime wizard, excuse me, slime wizard tower, we have this little slime spout here spewing out slime on the side. Obviously, we have the actual slime's eye up at the top that I actually put some glowstone behind so that it glows at night. I thought that was a nice touch. And the windows are all green. I don't know if you guys could really tell that from a distance, but it is all green glass in the windows. And the roofs, they're more of a blue, to be honest, but this was as close to green as I could get. In an ideal world, these would be like bright green to match the slime. But there isn't really a block in the game that has stairs and solid blocks that's like a bright green. Pretty much your only green options are like slime blocks, green wool, green terracotta, and green concrete, but none of those have stairs. If you want to make like a blue roof, that's really easy. You've got copper, you've got warped wood. If you want to make like a purpley reddish roof, you've got the crimson wood. You know, you've got jungle wood, kind of is sort of red. You can make an orange roof with the, what's that type of wood from savannas? What is that called? Savannah wood? You guys know what I'm talking about. Acacia, that's what it is. But it's really hard to make a green roof. So I went with copper because oxidized copper is kind of green. It does lean more on the blue side, but I like it. I think it looks better. Originally, when I was designing this place, I had the whole roofs were spruce, and I was like, something's not quite right here. I was like, I think the roofs need to stand out more. So I replaced it with the copper, and I like that. I've also got these like scars in the roof as well to add some texture with some slightly less, what would you call this? Oxidized, that's the word. It's slightly less oxidized copper up there. I'm just now noticing it. There's snow. Maybe I should add like string to stop snow from collecting. I don't know, maybe the snow looks good up there. I guess I'll have to see when there's a bunch of snow if I like that more or less. But yeah, I'm actually really happy with this build. I think it's great. And originally, the build was going to be right here, and I was going to have the slime coming out. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized if I had this big wizard tower right here, it would kind of throw off the scale of the town. And also, it wouldn't quite make sense to have a wizard tower right in town, right? Normally, wizard towers tend to be kind of off the beaten path a bit. So that's why I pushed it back up the mountain a bit, and I'm actually really happy with it for two reasons. A, because when you're in town here, there's going to be a road here, for example. So when you're in town, you're walking, and if you notice, the wizard tower is visible, but in this frame of reference, these buildings in town look bigger than the wizard tower. Even though the wizard tower is actually much taller than these buildings, because it's pushed back a bit, this A kind of eventually there's going to be a better building here. This kind of frames the wizard tower, but it's still small enough that it doesn't take away from the builds in town. And so I think this is a really nice location for it, and I'm really happy with that. As well as it's up the hill a bit, so it has a bit more of an overlooking presence, which is aided by the fact that there's a big old eye on the front. And yeah, I'm really happy with this build. Honestly, I feel like every build that I do in this world, every time I do a new build, I like it more than my previous build, which is great. That's a sign that I am, I guess, improving in my own eye, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. But with that, I think I'm gonna call it for this episode. You know, this is a bit of a shorter one, but I got everything done. Well, it was shorter for you guys. This actually took probably one of the longer episodes to make, but it was more just grindy work, you know, mining out the slime farm down here. This took forever, to be honest. And then, you know, designing the wizard tower and everything. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. Oh my gosh, I just realized there's something I wanted to show you guys. I almost forgot. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, before we end, I have obtained one of the rarest blocks in the game while mining out this slime farm. Are you guys ready for this? I think it's in this chest. No, it's not. Okay, that was anticlimactic. Okay, are you guys ready for this? Ta-da! Stone diamond ore, guys. I found 2 of them. Not even just one. I found 2 stone diamond ore down there while I was mining out this slime farm. And I was really happy for that. And, you know, I'm actually especially happy, not just because this is rare, but because I have a project in the distant future that will require me to obtain stone diamond ore. Now, if somebody can figure out what the heck that project is, I'd be very impressed. But, yeah, I'm probably not going to actually talk about that project for a while because it's going to be a big one in the future. But anyways, for now, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And if you want to see the next episode, consider subscribing. It's the best way to support and also to make sure that you don't miss upcoming episodes. But anyways, guys, thank you again for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you to The Great Bendini, Christopher Hovenstein, Inutile, Oliver, and all my other patrons for helping make this video possible. They just keep coming. I love this. This is great. Hello, friends. They're like my little pets. They can't hurt me. They just hang out. They want the attention.